Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video I will show you how to set up an Ark Survival Ascended dedicated server on Ubuntu Linux. So here you'll see the script itself. This is the README. It gives you instructions how to install everything. And this right here is what is setting up our server, our script options. So if you open this with text editor, the only real things you need to change here is these three things. So target user, this is basically in the script we're going to be making a new user. So you can set what you want the user to be called. This right here is the server folder. So you can change that if you want. And the user password is the password to the user that we created. Everything else I would just leave the way it is. If you understand what's happening, you can modify this. But to make sure your server doesn't break, I wouldn't touch anything else besides this. Down below, this is basically the settings for the script that is going to be made to start the server. So when we run the script, it's going to make another script on a desktop to the new user, and that new script is going to use these settings to create it. So if you want to change the map, you can change the map here. I've included the names of different maps you can choose. Session name, so this is basically what's going to show up on the server list when you start up the game and you try to join the server. This is what it's going to show as. Server password is the password to the server. Admin password is the password for admin privileges like doing console commands or enabling cheats. The rest I would just leave this the way it is. You can change this if you want more players. And mods, so basically if you don't want to add mods right away, don't touch this. But if you do want to add mods and you know the mod ID, just add equals before it. Because the way the script is, that's basically, you have to have the equals to make it work. Alright, once we have everything configured here the way we want it, we can go ahead and save it. Close out of it. And just bring up the terminal. And we just need to put in this one command. So this is assuming that we downloaded it, we haven't moved it, and we just extracted it. All you do is just put in this command, hit enter. Put in your admin password, and let the script do its thing. Alright, once everything is all done here, you'll notice at the end here that it says your Ethernet is this and your host name is this. Don't be alarmed, that's just part of the script, just to make it easier for port forwarding. I just have it nice and convenient here so you can write down your IP address for port forwarding, which will be in the next step. So the next step we're going to do is port forwarding. If you're on a virtual machine, follow these steps. If not, you can skip this part and just use the IP address that shows up from the script. But if you're on a virtual machine, you want to make sure you have a virtual switch set up. So on Hyper-V settings, if you go to Virtual Switch Manager, click on New Virtual Switch and make sure you click External. And then click Create Virtual Switch. Once you create that, you can name it and make sure it's set to external and set to your network Ethernet adapter or your wireless card, whichever you're using. And make sure Allow Management Operating System is checked and hit Apply and then OK. If the server is running, make sure the server is shut down. But you would basically just go into your settings for your server and make sure network adapter is set to the switch that we made. You have to have the server shut down in order to do this. So make sure that the virtual machine is on the same network as your router. Once you're done that, you can open up CMD as an administrator and just type in ipconfig. And as you can see here, this is like the IP address. This is the default gateway. So this is what you use to get into your router and your subnet mask. So what we want to do is we want to set a static IP address on our server, like on Ubuntu, I mean. So when you open up Ubuntu, if you click Show Apps, Settings, hit the settings here, and then IPv4, set it to manual here. The reason why we want to set a static is if the IP address changes and we have our ports forwarded, it will basically break the port forwarding because the IP address was not static. So by making the static address, so we can do anything on like 192.168.2.40 as long as the first three numbers match. The fourth can be whatever with this net mask of 255.255.255.0. That could be a number between 2 to 254 at the end here. And then for DNS, we set it as our default gateway. Alright, once we have our static IP address set, we're just going to go into our default gateway. So in my case, 92.168.2.1. And then I'm just going to go to my port forwarding. So for me, it's in the advanced section. And then it just shows here port forwarding. I've already done the ports here, but basically you just add 7777 to 7778 and 27015 as UDP, and then you set your IP address. My router will just automatically set it to the host name. But if I do the static IP address that we just set, see, it automatically changes it. But that's basically how you would do that. Alright, once we're done the port forwarding, we don't have to actually do anything at the firewall because the script already did it for us, already opened up the ports. So all we need to do now is just change to our new user that we made. Put in the password that you set and log in for the first time. Just skip through all this. As you can see, we made a shortcut to our server on the desktop, and you'll see the server script that we made. If you want to open it, everything that we set in the first script is now showing here. So if you want to change anything right now, you can change this. If you want to add mods, that's where I was saying before, you can add the mods here. Just put the equals before the mod ID, and that will basically just, it'll put the mods here for you. If you want to change the map, you can do that here as well if you didn't do it before. But basically just save it once once you have everything set the way you want it. You can open it with text editor, and then you can just make the changes and save it here. Once you have everything saved, just right click on it and choose run as a program. Alright, now we can see our server is up and running. If you check on the shortcut here, this is all the files for your server. If you go to your shooter game, saved, config, Windows Server, game user settings, this is where you can set all your multipliers. And if you go to the wiki, you can copy and paste uh, more settings in here. There's some settings that you need to have a game.ini, so just make that here and then set those settings there. So some things like breeding multipliers and other things like that, you would need to use the game.ini. So if it says to use that, just put that there. Yeah, but we're all set to go. All right, now that our server is up and running, last step is just to join. So we just open up the game, open up join game, click on unofficial, make sure show password protected is checked, as well as show player servers is checked. Search up our server, and there it is. And just hit join, put your password, and you're all set. I appreciate all you watching the video, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It gives me motivation to keep making these videos. I'm going to try and make a video soon showing how to make a cluster on the Linux, continuing from this, and try and make another script. I really wanted to make a really easy video here that all you have to do is basically just run a script and everything is all set up. Put a lot of work into making that happen, so I hope that everyone can get their server up and running, and leave me some feedback in the comments. If you're having any trouble, I'll try and answer as best as I can. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.